All right, so today we're going to be talking about the limited series on FX called A Teacher, starring Kate Mara and that guy who kind of looks like that other guy. And I'll put the picture so people know what I'm talking about, but I know what I'm talking about. James, do you want to give a quick
Yeah,
run through? Do you want to give a quick
I
run through
think
what
it's
this show
just
is about?
you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna gloss over that.
The teacher, a teacher, the show is about this fresh out of school, just starting a teaching job teacher, and a student that's all about frats and, oh, I'm going to UT and blah, 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 blah. It's very like paints an image like this is her goals, and like where she's at. This is him, this is his goals, this is where he's at. And then it's kind of back and forth. Like his friends are all, "Oh, she's a hot teacher," and he's like, "It's whatever." And then he's super into her, and she's pushing back, and then she's super into him, and it just kind of goes down this scary path. And it's a whole thing about people in positions of power taking advantage and abusing that and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what's interesting is we'll probably jump around a little bit, but l- she gets caught and someone's like yelling at her and she's like, he's 18, it's fine. And it's like, but that's not the point, and you get to see her perspective of things. And he was 17 when they started, though. um and it's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter if he's 18 or whatever. It's you're the teacher and he's the student. And every
Right.
episode opens with that. If this depicts images of grooming and that kind of thing. And I honestly thought grooming was like she was gonna, like, I guess the tutoring's helping, but I thought it was like she's helping him and sort of, like, I don't know, like giving him things or whatever, or you know what I mean? Because I don't know what that is.
Right.
What I learned, though, is that her doing the, like, pulling back and then kind of going all in, like at homecoming when she's like, "Hey, like, we can't do this," and then 2 minutes later she's giving him the look, and then he follows her to her car. Which, far be it from me, I'm a little rusty, but if some girl is looking at me and then she walks away, I'm like, well, I guess she's leaving for tonight. I'll, see you later. Like, I don't know
Right.
what cues she gave, but I didn't pick up on them. But yeah, and then when she's like, okay, no pictures, no this, no that, and then she sends him the pictures of her in the bathroom and stuff. So, like, she's always going against herself, and I guess that's part of it too. And I like how the show shows both sides of things, especially in the later episodes when he goes to his first semester at college, and then they do that time jump of 5, 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. Um, and especially at college, where at first he's broken up about it, he feels guilty, he's like, I put her in jail, like, this, oh, I feel so shitty about myself, like, I did her wrong, like, I was so, messed up to her. And then in the last episode where he's kind of on the other side of it, and it's like, oh no, like, yeah, I put you in jail, but you fucked me up for life.
I mean, yeah, because it really is kind of, people, when you're in high school and everything, like that's a very common kind of, I guess, joke or like trope in TV shows or whatever, that like the player guy had been a player since he was a kid and everything. Like 2.5 Men, a lot of the jokes are Charlie, oh, he lost his virginity to his teacher in middle school, stuff like that. And it's like, that's crazy, like if you really think about the psychology behind that woman thought that was okay, that adult woman thought that was
Yeah.
okay, it's like, yeah. And I mean, there's the whole, oh, but he, as you said, it's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter that he's 18 or not. It's the fact that he's the student, she's the teacher, that's where the issue lies.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
it all seems to be with these rules. A lot of the defenses, like uh, how hard it is to kind of go against temptation, like resist temptation, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and all that thing. Like it's some really difficult thing, and it's like, I don't know, because for me, I see plenty of attractive people on a daily basis, and I don't need like restraint, to not try to have sex with them by
Mhm.
any means. And there's, and
Yeah, I
that's,
see hot girls, but I don't really care. Yeah, that's just me, James, living.
but then, the show kind of also gives you the reminder when other people are talking to her, like, yeah, but it's still your student.
And I think too, just with them interacting, like when they go away for his birthday and he gets all jealous that she has to pick up the phone when her husband is calling her.
Yeah,
And then he's like, take your panties off, like, take your fucking panties. I'm the motherfucking man. And it's like you kind of see like both sides of like the manipulation or the toxic elements in their relationship. And I do want to say real fast that I do like how in the beginning especially you're rooting for Eric, the main character, because he's kind of poor, he's working really hard on his soccer team to get into school, and he wants to take the SAT seriously to get into this good school. And you're like, yeah, he's a good guy, he's like a good enough kid. And then slowly and stuff you see him just be a normal 17-year-old shithead, like when he's
right,
when he first kind of starts flirting with her, and he's like, I'm the man. He's like looking in the mirror, and the whole thing when he's at that party and he gets busted, he's like, I'm not like these other kids, I can't get in trouble. It's like he's
right,
kind of just like I thought that was a good portray of him, especially because it's like, oh yeah, like he's a good kid, but he's also just a dumbass, like we
right. I
all
mean,
were
yeah,
at
no,
17.
he's a teenager that was told he's got something special about him his whole life, so that's what he believes. He thinks that, oh yeah, I'm not like this loser that just parties all the time or whatever, and like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter whether or not they get in trouble. It's like, even though I'm here at the party
Yeah, even
drinking
though I party
underage,
all the time and
right, even though I
and
do and act exactly how these other people do, and when I'm with them, they're my best friends.
because I think the first scene we see Eric in, he's running through the hall filming, and he's like, "Seniors, fucking yeah!" And he's like, shaking people and push them into lockers and just, you know, assaulting people. And he's like, "We're never gonna die." And then the first time we
Right.
see Claire is that she's like putting on the lipstick, and then she steals the lipstick at the grocery store. And I was wondering what you thought about that, because I thought this either shows in a very small way that like something's kind of off with her, where she's like, I don't know, I'll just steal it, like who even cares? Or it's that she's bored and she's trying to like seek some kind of thrill, because even
Yeah.
later on when he's mad at her, he's like, is this some bored housewife thing, like don't you care about me? And she's like, no, I love you.
No, I totally agree, because that's like her doing that really does foreshadow what she basically actually says in the show when she's talking to oh, it wasn't like rules weren't imposed on me or anything. I needed rules and all that stuff, and she's saying I sank myself into this kind of like you know pretty boring step by step life and everything, and everything has to go to plan. So when you people are like that and they live like that for a while, that it does usually take a toll on them, and that's kind of how they go about it. They'll do stuff like that, shoplifting or cheating or whatever. But I mean, her case was a little extreme.
Yeah, and I do like how it kind of sets it up in a very typical affair story that we would see in like a movie, where the husband doesn't seem like a terrible person, but like he's traveling a lot and he's tired, he's kind of unattentive at times, and they have the whole trouble with getting pregnant, which I totally thought, James, that he was gonna get her pregnant, Eric, the kid, because
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just
yeah.
seemed weird that they kept bringing that up, and that was such a big thing, and I was like, "It's gonna happen, and she's gonna have to lie to the husband and be like, 'It's yours.'" But that never happened,
Right.
unfortunately, so minus a few points in my personal, records there for the show. but it's still a
No,
good
because
show.
yeah, they really do. No, it is a good show. I liked it a lot. I just
Yeah.
but no, yeah, that is strange. You're right. They brought it up a lot for it to not be like a big thing towards the end. And I actually kind of thought there was a couple of those things in the show. Like he's talking to that girl at the bar. This is like the second to last one. This is towards the end. He's
Oh
talking to that
yeah.
girl at the bar, all that stuff. And nothing happens with her. Like even that conversation doesn't go anywhere. And I don't even mean like them hooking up or anything like that. I just meant like some, like the conversation is set up to be some sort of like a significant scene. So it's like you'd think there would be some sort of conclusion to that, like, well, he takes something from the conversation, or he, inspires her somehow in the conversation or anything like that. But it's really just no one understands, and then the girl's just gone.
Maybe it's that shows that like because she was a little older than him, but not by much. So I feel like that was supposed to show like what he could have, but he wasn't there yet, like with his healing and everything like that. Watching the last episode and having it end the way it did, uh I don't know what they could ever do with a season two, but I was kind of like I was like, man, I hope there's a second season of this. And I think that's because the time jumps were so large, where it's like, okay, now he's in college, which I want to circle back to, and then it's like, all right, 10 years later, he's gotten different perspective and sees things kind of for what they were, and then it just ends. And it's like, well, I mean, how else could it have ended? So like, it's fine. But there's like so much in between. It's like, I kind of wish we could have seen that, and maybe it wouldn't have been interesting or important. But that's kind of like
Right.
my first thought, and then I was thinking about it. I'm like, maybe not.
I mean, yeah, I really don't know what they would do for a season two, because they kind of concluded it. But I also, I think I think they were trying to make it realistic, like really
Yes.
realistic, by the way they were, uh, where it's not some big conclusion or anything. It's
Yeah. No, it
literally
totally
just they
makes sense.
stumbled into each other. Yeah, they happened to stumble into each other, and he got frazzled, and it does kind of throw you off a little, or at least for me, because I was kind of thinking like, no, like he's not still into her, right? Because the way he looks at her at the grocery store and everything, I'm like, there's no way. It's been 10 years, and then they sit and they have lunch or whatever, and he reveals he's mostly just messed up because of the years he lost, you know, being messed up directly from what she did, and now it's like that indirect, it kind of is now it's because of this that stemmed from that.
Right.
But so that surprised me a little, how he was kind of just like, oh yeah, no, like I went through all this and I realized this now, but I lost so much time and that's your fault. And I was like, yeah, no, that's fair, because a lot of those times, she, you wanted to feel bad for her a little bit in that episode where she's getting turned down out of a job, and it's all like the
Oh,
neighborhood
yeah.
moms
Yeah,
that are,
the mom who's like, she is a predator.
right, by nature annoying people. The and
Yeah.
and just all this stuff going on with her, and you see her crying and everything, and you're like, man, like she really just thought she liked the guy, because I mean, intentionally speaking, she didn't intentionally do anything. It was just kind of messed up what she did, and the fact that she didn't put that together and act as an adult and stop it is what the problem is.
I don't know if she fully thought of it in those terms or fully understood what she did and the consequences that she caused. I thought it was weird. I think the writing is pretty good in the show for the most part. I think there are a few kind of cringy lines, but what
Oh
kind of
yeah.
confused me was when he was in college and when dude, my girl's Xanthippe from Kimmy Schmidt was the girl he was hooking up with. And she was like, "Yeah, like I know who you are." And like everyone was like, "Yo, dude, I know exactly who you are. I Googled you. I did this. Like I know your whole story." It's like I don't know if most people would come up to basically a stranger and be like, "Dude, I know all about that crazy thing that happened to you.
Right.
Sex with your teacher." And
Right.
you can see
Also,
him really
like,
get uncomfortable by it.
yeah,
And
yeah, and then the teacher almost makes it like a kink.
oh yeah, and then we see I totally forgot about this for a second. Claire's reaction when she's on that Tinder date and the dude's like, "Yeah, I looked you up." And she's like she kind of turns it into a the kink and also in a
Right.
weird punishing way when she gets punched in the face. Yo, Claire's a lightweight. She had 3 sips of whatever her other teacher friend stole, and she's like, "Come on, tell me who it is, tell me who it is." And she's like, "It's Eric." And it's like, there's no way there's, like, one because I was rewatching some of these episodes with my brother, and he, like, practically stood up. He was like, "No, like, that's how they do it?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, right.
And it's like, really? She has these 3 little hold on, I'll reenact it. It's like, and then, and like, that's it, and she's like, "Oh my god, like, I'm so drunk, I'll tell you whatever." It's like, "No, come on,
Right.
like, that's silly."
Right. I think the way that it came out so easy, I think they were trying to show that, like, I mean, she does say like, "Oh, I wanted to, get it out of my chest and tell someone because I'm like sick of hiding it and all this shit like that." But it's also it just shows how she's trying to convince herself that it's okay. She's like, "Okay, I have this
Right.
cool, super understanding friend. Like, I'm gonna confide in them because, like, I know it's okay, so she'll get it." And then
She steals liquor
reality check.
and is crazy and
Yeah.
brings flasks to dances.
Right. Like, she's not one to follow the rules all the time.
And just to reiterate, I am really surprised that the pregnancy thing didn't come up until the very end with the 10-year jump because there's never one scene of him putting on a condom.
Right.
Just to show it
Right.
like if a movie shows it the first time, maybe then it's like it implies he does it every time, but it's just the car, the motel, just all those times it's just straight into it. So it's like, how does
Right.
she
And
not
there's no like
whatever?
cut or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder well, I guess it would be a really big difference if they did that in the movie, which I kind of want to see now just to see how it compares. Um, but
They have, wait, there's a movie?
yeah, it says in the trailer, in the credits, based on the movie.
Oh, I did not know that. I didn't watch the credits.
Bruh.
She just has kids in the future. It's just like this husband worked. And he doesn't get like talked about much either. It's just, oh yeah, he accepts, like, he doesn't judge that I did all that in the past. So
Yeah,
we're together. We have kids and I'm super happy with them. Like, there's no, you know, it's just, it seems like she kind of just lucked out in her, as far as her situation goes, and found someone with
yeah.
enough money to support her and doesn't care.
The repercussions that she faced in the beginning, where people wouldn't hire her, has kind of been eliminated. So it's like in a weird way, she has faced no real consequences for what she did, and
Right.
it's Eric who's the one who's kind of living with it. And to go back to the ending, I kind of one of the reasons why I was like, oh yeah, second season wouldn't make much sense is that what you said, it is realistic, and it's like he is sort of on different steps, and this part in his life, it's like, yeah, I realized what happened and the reality of the situation, and now he just kind of has to live with it and kind of go one day at a time.
Yeah, like she really did kind of just slip into the whole like, oh well, I guess I don't work now, so I'm gonna just find money and live my life the best I can.
She's gonna sell topaz jewelry on Etsy. Dude, she literally loved it. Remember when she said that? She was like, I literally am
Like, I literally
jewelry
love
making
it.
business.
Yeah.
That
But
actual literal
also
child's penis.
just
I wish
a
someone
quick
said that to
side
her,
note.
where she's like, he's 18, it's fine. He is a literal actual child.
Yeah.
Like it's so redundant. And you know what's interesting too that I thought about is that his friend who was who liked the other friend's younger sister, who was the freshman. It was like it was the total opposite of Eric and Claire's relationship, where it's the older guy and the younger girl, and you kind of see how people reacted to that, where people were like, "Why are you taking a 14 or 15-year-old to homecoming?" And then the brother was like, "Dude,
Yeah.
just stay away from her." And there was also that scene where they were doing the shots and he kind of like coughed over it. He was like, "Oh man, that's strong." And she's like, "You're a pussy," and just like chugged it. And it kind of, yeah, I like the parallel, but that didn't really go anywhere either. That wasn't super elaborated on.
Did you have like teachers you even found attractive? Because the hot teacher was a myth to me for the
I
for the
think
longest.
I think our high school did a really good job of hiring unconventional. No, but there was no like high school teacher I was like, can't wait for second
I
period.
hope
But
there's
you know
no
what
one
though?
you were like that with. Never,
Um
never.
yeah, just just I'm like weaving. No, but eighth grade, middle school, we had a smoking hot science teacher, and everyone, girls included, were like, "Oh my god." And then we found out she was married, and it broke our hearts. But I called her her first name one time as a joke, and she got really pissed, and I was like, "This means we're dating." No, because I forget how, because everyone was obsessed with her, so someone found out her first name, told everybody, and I just raised my hand, and I was like, I can't even remember it anymore. Let's just say Sarah. Like, Sarah, and she was
It's
like,
on
"Don't say that." But she knew. She thought it was funny.
her.
She did though. I
That's
think she got a thrill out of it.
just like, mm. Now you ruined my life for the next 10 years.
It's a cycle. See, one Eric was hurt, so now as an Eric, I have to hurt someone.
On that note, any upcoming movies you want to talk about? We've been out of it for a hot minute. I feel like we should have a list by now, but I don't.
I don't either, man. I watched War Dogs, which was pretty good. It's the
With Jonah Hill.
yeah, the Todd Phillips movie with him and Miles Teller, which is pretty good. Um I've seen a few things. I've been watching TV. I've been rewatching Freaks and Geeks. I want to rewatch Derek on Netflix. I want to watch Russian Dolls because I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, I don't have a list per se, but War Dogs would be a fun one to do. Or honestly, you know what? I watched the new Bad Boys movie when that came out. Did you watch that?
I've only seen the first one.
It's basically kind of like a classic movie series that
Mhm.
had like a just okay reboot and
Yeah,
or whatever,
that's
or I
kind of what
guess
I heard.
I guess it's technically another sequel, but it like
Yeah,
I don't know,
because Michael
kind of
Bay wasn't
ruined.
involved with this one. People said that lawsuit,
Right,
the magic wasn't there.
right, and yeah, and not to be one of those guys, but because PC culture isn't necessarily like it, like they thought what people are a little extra careful with like what they put in movies and everything than they actually have to be. We're just saying don't be, openly racist, sexist, blah 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 blah.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more. It helps us out a lot. And we'll see you
Yeah,
next time.
hopefully sooner than later.
See you.
Later.